Hey everyone, welcome back. We're diving into a topic today that I think a lot of you are going to find pretty interesting. We're talking about Europe,
The future of Europe.
and more specifically,
The economy.
yeah, Europe's economy. Um, we've got some
Fascinating.
really fascinating analysis here.
2 reports.
Yeah, we've got these two reports, the Letta report and the Draghi report,
Yeah.
and they're suggesting that,
It's a turning point for Europe.
yeah,
Crossroads.
crossroads, you got it, big time. Um, and our listeners are from all across the globe, so I think a lot of you are going to be really interested in seeing how this all plays out.
Yeah, I mean, the sense I get from these reports is almost one of urgency. Like,
Oh, really?
yeah, Europe's got to figure this out. Like, the world is changing,
Yeah.
and it's not really in Europe's favor.
Yeah, and one of the things that they point out is that, and this was pretty shocking to me, the EU's share of the global GDP has been shrinking for the last 20 years,
Yeah, and it's way smaller than the US's now.
which is wild.
And, this is all happening while China's economy is just exploding.
Yeah.
The U.S. has actually seen its share of the global GDP increase recently,
Oh, wow.
while the EU's just keeps shrinking.
So Europe's economic power is waning. So, what's going on? Why is this happening?
Well, they use this term in the reports, fragmentation.
Fragmentation.
And essentially what it means is even though you have the EU, you still basically have 27 different countries,
Right.
all with their own
Agendas.
agendas, their own priorities. And that makes it really difficult for the EU to, be a strong economic force globally.
It's like they're trying to box, in a heavyweight match.
Yeah.
With 27 different fighters all trying to punch at the same time.
Right. It's not exactly a winning strategy.
Not going to win. Not going to win.
So the reports use banking and defense as examples.
Okay.
Like if a European bank needs a bailout, it's the individual country, not the EU, that has to step in.
Oh, interesting.
And then with defense, there's no real unified European military force,
Which is something that
especially with
Trump was harping on about.
exactly. Europe needs to spend more on defense.
Yeah.
So it really raises this question of can Europe, actually act as one when it matters?
So it sounds like what they're saying is if they want to play with the big boys, the U.S., China, they got to get their act together. They got to unify.
That's a big part of it, yeah. But there's another thing the reports talk about, innovation.
Okay.
Europe's falling behind in investment, especially in technology.
Compared to.
U.S. especially. Like, think about it. The biggest, most valuable companies in the world, Apple, Microsoft, NVIDIA, these are all American tech giants, worth trillions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Europe's just not in the same league.
So how does that play out, in the real world?
Well, a lot of promising European startups, they end up moving to the U.S.
Oh, interesting.
because there's more investment there,
Right.
and it's a bigger market.
So Europe is kind of losing out on their best and brightest.
Exactly. It's like a brain drain.
Yeah.
And that just makes it even harder for them to compete globally.
Okay, so we got a double whammy here.
Yeah.
We got the lack of unity, lack of innovation. So what's the solution? What are these reports actually saying that Europe can do to turn this thing around?
Well, they have some pretty concrete suggestions, actually.
Okay.
And one of the most striking is a huge increase in investment. Like the Draghi report, it actually puts a number on it. 800 billion euros every year
800 billion.
in additional investment.
Wow. Where are they going to get that kind of money?
Well, the report suggests that they should look inward. Europeans, they tend to save more and invest less than Americans.
Okay.
So the idea is, what if they redirected some of those savings
Oh, interesting.
back into Europe?
Invest in themselves.
Yeah. Fuel European innovation with European money.
So it's not about finding new money. It's about using the money they already have differently.
Exactly.
Okay. So, but can that really work?
Yeah.
Can they just change where the money is going and actually transform the economy?
I mean, that's the €1,000,000 question, right? Can they really do it?
Yeah.
And if they do, what does it mean for the average person? Will this really make a difference in their lives?
Well, Pascal Donahoe seems to think so.
The Eurogroup president.
Yeah. He seems pretty confident that Europe can pull this off, this whole economic transformation.
Well, he would know, right?
Yeah.
He's basically the voice of all the Eurozone finance ministers.
Right. Exactly.
And he's really emphasizing, being smart with money.
Fiscal discipline.
Yeah, fiscal discipline, but also strategic investment.
Right.
It's not just about spending money, it's about spending it in the right way.
To make it actually count.
Yeah, to make a real difference. And he's really stressing that Europe needs to step up on the global stage.
Show the world what they can do.
Yeah, especially the global south.
Yeah.
They need to show that they can handle global challenges, that they can be a real partner.
So it's about regaining trust.
Yeah, and showing leadership. Like, the world is watching to see if Europe can, adapt and thrive in this new landscape.
So it's like they need almost like a rebranding campaign,
Right.
you
Yeah.
show off their strengths and potential.
They need to show that they're not just, trying to solve their own problems, but that they can contribute to solutions globally.
Yeah. And I think Donahoe really gets that. He's saying that the EU needs a clear vision for the future.
Well, and the reports kind of hint at that vision, right? Like a Europe that's a leader in sustainability and social responsibility.
Setting a good example.
Yeah, like the global standard for, environmental protection,
Yeah.
worker rights, ethical business practices.
Putting people and the planet first.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's a really powerful vision.
Yeah, it's very attractive.
Yeah, it could attract investment and talent,
Global respect.
Yeah. But of course, it's one thing to have a vision.
It's another thing to actually make it happen.
Right. And the reports acknowledge that there are some big hurdles.
Like what? What could derail this whole plan?
Well, political instability is a big one.
Oh, of course.
We're seeing a rise in, populism and far-right movements.
Yeah, in France, Germany, even Romania.
Yeah, all over.
Yeah.
And that could really undermine, efforts to create a more unified EU.
And, the report specifically mentioned Germany.
What about Germany?
Their traditional reluctance to borrow money.
Oh, right.
They're really fiscally conservative.
Yeah.
And that could be a real problem when you're talking about making these huge investments.
Well, some experts think that Germany might have to change its tune on that.
Yeah. Loosen the purse strings a little bit.
Yeah. Because the scale of the challenge here might require a bolder approach.
So yeah, a lot hinges on Germany. But even if they get on board, and even if the political landscape stabilizes, the big question is, what does all this mean for the average European?
Right. Like, will this actually lead to a better life for people?
Yeah. More prosperity, more equality, more security, or will it just create new anxieties and divisions?
That's what it all comes down to, right? We
Yeah.
can talk about reports and economic theories all day long,
Right.
but ultimately it's about the everyday lives of Europeans.
Exactly. So we've laid out the challenges, we've explored some solutions, we've talked about the importance of political will, but now we need to really zoom in and focus on the human impact of all of this. What will these changes actually mean for the people who call Europe home? Okay, so we've talked about this big picture stuff,
Right.
unity and innovation,
A new vision for Europe.
a new vision, yeah. But what does that actually look like?
On the ground.
Yeah, how are these changes going to affect people's lives?
Well, the reports actually talk about that.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, one of the things they focus on is jobs,
Yeah.
especially for young people.
Okay.
They really emphasize that, innovation and investing in technology, that's going to be key to creating jobs in the future.
So you're talking like a boom in European startups.
Yeah, potentially.
New jobs in all these cutting edge fields like renewable energy, AI, biotech.
Exactly.
That would be huge.
Yeah, especially because youth unemployment has been such a problem in Europe
Yeah, for years.
for years. So this is about creating, not just any jobs,
Right.
but good jobs.
Yeah, the kind of jobs that people actually want.
Yeah, high-skilled, high-paying jobs that give people a sense of purpose.
Yeah, opportunity,
Yeah, and keep young people in Europe.
building their future.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that kind of ties into that whole idea of Europe becoming a leader in sustainability. Right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
The reports talk about investing in green technologies, renewable energy. That can make Europe a much better place to live for everyone.
Right, and boost the economy at the same time.
Win-win.
Win-win,
Yeah.
exactly.
Cleaner air, greener cities.
Mm-hmm. And, Europeans really care about the environment.
Oh, yeah.
And so investing in that, it just makes Europe a more attractive place.
Yeah, for citizens and for businesses.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but let's be real. Change can be scary,
Oh, yeah.
even when it's good
Yeah.
change. So are there any concerns about how this might affect people?
Well, yeah, the reports do mention some potential downsides.
Okay.
Like, for example, if there's a rapid shift towards a digital economy, automation, some people could lose their jobs.
Oh, yeah.
So it's really important for European leaders to be prepared for that,
Yeah.
to invest in retraining programs, help people adapt.
Yeah, make sure nobody gets left behind.
Right. And it's also really important to make sure that the benefits of this transformation are shared widely. It
Yeah.
can't just be for the rich and powerful.
Right, right. Otherwise, you just get more inequality.
Exactly. And that just leads to more instability.
Yeah, social and political instability.
Yeah. So this has to be about creating a better future for all Europeans.
So for our listeners, especially those of you who are following this from all over the world, what's the takeaway here?
I think the takeaway is that the future of Europe is being decided right now.
It's a pretty pivotal moment.
It is. It's a huge opportunity. But it's also, there's a lot of uncertainty.
And the decisions they make, they're not just going to affect Europe.
No.
They're going to affect the whole world.
Yeah. The global economy, it's all connected.
So what happens in Brussels or Berlin, it matters everywhere.
Yeah. So it's important for everyone to stay informed.
Yeah.
Whether you're in Asia, Africa, the Americas.
Yeah.
What's happening in Europe, it's relevant to all of us.
Yeah, because these are global challenges.
Right. Climate change, technological disruption, social inequality. These are issues that everyone's dealing with.
And the solutions that Europe comes up with, they could be really valuable for other countries.
Absolutely.
It's a reminder that we're all in this together.
Mm-hmm.
The future of Europe is the future of the world.
That's right.
So if you've been enjoying this deep dive and you appreciate these global insights, please do us a favor and like and subscribe.
We'll keep bringing you more thought-provoking analyses.
Exploring the forces that are shaping our world and giving you the knowledge and perspectives you need to navigate these really complex times. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into Europe's economic crossroads.